The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Connie O'Day. I should say Lion Connie O'Day, coming from Stockton, California, the Voice of Stockton. And today, my show is called Lions We Serve Live. And I have a special guest today who is the district governor for MD4A1, and we will be talking to her in just a little while. First of all, I would like to remind everyone that this is our centennial year, 100 years that Lions has been in servicing the communities. And I'd like to remind everybody that there are certain challenges that all Lions clubs throughout the world, we have approximately about 219, we're in 219 countries and approximately 48,000 plus clubs worldwide. And we are all working towards fulfilling 4 different challenges for this centennial year. And our challenges are engaging our youth, to support our youth in our communities, or inspire the next generation of volunteers by inviting LEOs and other local youth to serve on a project within your club. The second project that we're looking at is sharing the vision. Now, what this means is to prevent future cases of unnecessary blindness through vision screening and educational events. For us Lions to give a gift of sight through projects that benefit those who are blind or living with low vision is one of our major goals throughout the world. Another challenge is relieving the hunger in our communities and in our countries. Our goal is to improve access to healthy food for vulnerable populations in our communities. And the third is to protect our environment. Improve access to protect and improve the environment to make our community a healthier place to live for everyone. One of the things in our area of Stockton, California, and San Joaquin County, we have a huge waterway called the Delta Waterway. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to preserve this Delta water. This goes clear into Sacramento, and it comes into Stockton, which has the largest inland port in the United States. And we're working towards preserving this water. There are challenges to move this water to Southern California and out to the desert. But this is not going to help to improve our waterways. We have to look at each one of our communities and look at our environment and see what needs to be cared about. And as Lions, this is the challenge this coming year and for the future, is to protect your environment within your communities, within your states, and within your countries. And so we're very proud that we are celebrating our 100th year. And I hope that within your own communities and within your own clubs that you are doing many of these projects and improving everything that these projects are aimed for. So that is the Centennial Service Challenges. Also, this year, as every year on New Year's morning, is the Rose Bowl Parade in Pasadena, California. Every year we have the International Lions Float, and all of our clubs throughout the United States and throughout all the world, and all the clubs throughout the world, that is, help to pay for the cost of this float. And this year's theme is preserving our environment, which goes with one of the major projects for our 100th centennial year. The float is 35 feet long. It's designed to depict Leos planting trees and overseeing the preservation of a historical landmark. One of the things that will be on this float is an animated water wheel. So I hope that on New Year's morning, wherever you are, you will tune in to see our Lions float in the Rose Bowl parade. Now, my understanding is that this parade is televised in over 80 countries. So I hope you have the opportunity to see the float, and I hope that your club will donate to the float through the international office. Also, what is happening here in California, California of the United States of America, is the 90th MD4 convention for 2018. It will be in San Diego, California. The theme is the next century of service. The date is February 9th through the 11th of 2018 and will be at the Crown Plaza Hotel in San Diego in the Mission Valley area. Reservations deadline is January 20th, 2018 by midnight. So I encourage all of you who can attend this wonderful convention to please get your reservations in before January 20th. January 20th is the deadline. Okay, and if you have, let's see, now that is not right. Okay, I'm giving you some different information. This was, I'm looking at another convention that has already passed. Sorry about that. You know, you get so excited about all of our wonderful conventions that we Lions have. I get confused sometimes with all of the wonderful events that we do have. Also, for California, we have a student speaker contest every year. This is one of our projects of working with youth, high school students, from freshmen all the way through seniors. The student speaker contest has a theme every year. Our district governors come together and decide on the theme, which is a theme that has a great impact on our communities and on our country at the particular time of the speech contest. This year, the theme of our project is called Integrity and Civility Play Out What Role in Today's Society? Let me say that again, because this is really quite an interesting theme. Integrity and civility play what role in today's society? It's really going to be interesting to hear what students find out and what they think about this particular theme and issue in our society today. There are 6 levels that students will participate in. The first level of the speech contest is at the club level, and then goes on, the winner at club level will go on to the zone level, and that zone contest winner will go on to the regional contest. And then the winners of the regional contest go on to the district contest, then to the area contest, and then to the MD4 final contest at the state convention. And that will be June 9th, 2018 at this convention. And this is also a way of students getting scholarship money. And by the time the winner of the final step, that student will have received over $22,000 in scholarships. So this is a great opportunity for students. And they can be in public school, private school, home studies. They can be a foreign exchange student. So we are reaching out to all students throughout the state of California to participate in this wonderful opportunity to get scholarship money. Okay, and I do want to give a big shout out to one of our extremely active clubs here in Stockton, California. Stockton Host. This is the club that is going on very close to their 100th anniversary. In 2020, they will have been here 100 years. Every year they have this large crab feed, along with many, many other clubs that have crab feeds. And their crab feed is in January. And we also have another Lions Club crab feed that is the Stockton Phil M. Lions Club crab feed. That is also in January. And I will be giving you more information at the first of the year at our next show, which will be on January 8th of 2018. Okay, and what I would like to do right now is I would like to remind everybody that this is the time of the year that so many of us clubs throughout the world give to those who really are in need. And in most of our communities, we have an emergency food bank. And I would really like to say that at this time, I'd like to see all of our clubs give to the emergency food bank and also to give to our homeless shelters. Now, my club, which I'm president of, the Stockton San Joaquin Club, just recently had a Christmas party. Instead of us exchanging gifts, what we did is we brought in blankets and warm clothing, socks, sweaters, anything at all that can be used not only by homeless men and women, but also by homeless children. So I hope that all of your clubs out there will also participate in this wonderful time of the year by giving to your emergency food banks and also giving to your homeless shelters. And today I have a very, very special guest. I want to introduce you to Eileen Guadagnolo. I have a difficult time pronouncing her last name. She is our new current district governor for District 4A1 here in Stockton, California, in our district of, I should just say Stockton. We've got many cities here in our district. But Eileen is originally, she was born in Lakeport, California. And she has attended the University of Pacific, which is here in Stockton, and she majored in education. And haven't you been a teacher for many years?
Yes, about 22 years.
Just a few years. Yes, 22 years she's been a teacher. She now lives in Linden, California, and she, like she said, she's been teaching for 22 years, and she also participated. Are you still active with the Choral Society?
No, I'm not, because I've been focusing on Lions projects.
Right. Well, for 15 years, she was participating with the Stockton Chorale, and she has done 4 annual concerts in Stockton, California, and in Lodi, California. And she has done summer tours, concerts in Italy, Scotland, Ireland, Germany, Australia, and Hungary. Boy, you've traveled around a lot. She was honored to sing in a mass at the Vatican in Italy. When was that? Do you remember?
It's been quite a while ago.
What an honor.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Very exciting.
Oh, I would imagine so. Eileen now, she is running her family's farm and has been running it for at least the last 15 years and has converted all the property into growing walnuts, which is a big crop here in San Joaquin County and Stanislaus County also. And so I'd like to say also that it was in 2000 you joined Lions Club.
That's correct.
And you joined the Stockton Delta Lions here in Stockton, California. And Eileen has been a very busy and very active Lion. She was a board member. She was club president in 2002 to 2004 and also 2006 to 2007. And also 2013 and 2015, and has held other club offices very many times. And now she has been elected as our district governor here. So, Eileen, I'd like you to go ahead and tell me what it is like to be a governor, and what are your goals, and what do you foresee for our district?
Well, it's very exciting to be the district governor. Our district runs from Lodi in the north, Lodi, California, to Merced, or Madera, I should say, California in the south. It goes from the I-5 corridor to the west and Yosemite Valley to the east.
Yeah.
So it's a big area. We have 56 clubs that need to be visited once a year. I have about 6 left for January.
She's been very busy.
And this gives us an opportunity to meet with all the club members in the whole district and to give them a little insight as to what our goals are going to be for the year, and to bring a message from the international president. And so this has been a real challenge, because it seems like you're on the road daily, and sometimes we have evening meetings, sometimes we have lunch meetings, and sometimes we have very early morning breakfasts, about 6:45 in the morning.
I was just going to say that. Right.
So if you have to travel to the southern part of the state, of course, we're about midway, you can count on about 2-hour drive. So, of course, if you're going to be there at 6:45 in the morning, you start out quite early.
Very early, right.
So, as I say, it has been very interesting, very challenging. You not only do visitations to each of the clubs, there are business items that have to be taken care of also. You have to determine who your officers are going to be for the day. There are about 52 or 3 officers that need to be selected. Some people volunteer, some people you have to ask.
And this is your board?
This is the board, yes.
Of directors.
And so each of them has a function and has a job to do, and so you need to make sure that they carry out what their duties are. And that's very exciting. There are always little tidbits of things that come up, and emails are the easiest way to get together and notify people of meetings or problems that might occur, and those are answered on a daily basis. That's the first thing I do in the morning, is to answer emails and telephone calls.
Very good. You're very disciplined.
And of course, membership is a very important part, along with our service. Service is number one, and we try to have a lot of service projects, and of course we have to earn money in order to support those projects, and so that's another thing that we do, our fundraising things. And it's a real challenge to help out the clubs. Membership, as I say, is very, very important, because any club, or any organization needs to reimburse members, because of course we lose some according to illnesses or death or things like that. So we want to always keep invigorating our clubs with younger members. That's why we support the LEOs that are in existence in the high schools, hoping that eventually, when their life gets to the point where they have the time to do Lions projects, that they choose to join Lions. And,
right. That's preparing them to be adult Lions.
Exactly. Exactly. Along with being a district governor for your own district, there are other obligations on the multiple district. There are 15 district governors within the state of California, and we meet on a regular basis 4 times a year in various places, either from the northern part of the state or to the southern part of the state, and sometimes to the east and west. They try to choose places that are different so that everyone can have the opportunity to either travel or to be associated with the members from different clubs.
Now, I want to ask you a question to get clarification. My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that our district MD4
Yes.
or MD41.
Yes.
Our district in the state of California is the largest district. Is that right?
Yes.
So we are the largest district here. So Eileen has a lot of work to do with our district here in California. Yes.
Now, along with doing those particular meetings, we also have what we call meetings on the phone. And we usually have those on a monthly basis.
The conference calls.
The conference calls,
okay.
yes. And they generally last anywhere from an hour to 2 hours.
And is this all the governors in the state?
All the governors,
oh,
yes.
Okay.
And so it's a challenge to find a time when everyone can spend that kind of time.
Oh, yes. Trying to organize everybody together. Right.
Yes. Usually a Sunday afternoon late is a time when most people have, I guess you could call it free time, as free as it ever is.
Yes.
And so that's when we generally meet. So we take care of business that can't wait for the cabinet meetings, and that way we stay in contact with each other so that we know what's happening, and we don't have to drive the distance in order to do that, which is what they used to have to do before we had computers and phones and iPads and that kind of thing.
Now, do you have a special goal of yourself as district governor that you would like to see our district accomplish?
Yes, I have several things that I would like to see, and one of those is to increase membership.
Okay, yes.
To increase the number of clubs. We have just started a branch club in San Andreas, and a branch club is sponsored by a regular club until they reach 20 members, and then they can become a club on their own.
Okay.
So San Andreas has started that now, and their goal will be to get 20 members so that they can be a club and their own standing.
Now, the branch clubs, is that something that all clubs throughout the world with the Lions can do? Can they,
Absolutely.
They all can do that?
Absolutely.
Have branch clubs, okay.
Yes. And for some clubs, they may have 5 or 6 people who are interested in starting a club. And so that's the way that they get started. And they add to it from that point on. So that's a real challenge. Some of the other things that goals that I have set is for each of the clubs to do at least one of the centennial projects. Now, last year we had 57% of the clubs participate with at least one of the centennial projects. This last year we had about 78%. And I'm hoping this year that we will reach 100% mark.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The projects are wonderful. They're easy to do. And it's just that sometimes the secretaries don't always understand how to report those to the international.
Right, because I think that all of the 4 centennial projects that I was just mentioning at the beginning of our show is what Eileen's talking about, that each club should be participating and trying to reach a goal of each one of those 4 projects. And it's not very difficult, because when you do the student speaker contest for the California clubs, that's reaching out to the youth.
Yes.
Now, several clubs here in Stockton and in our district actually participated in the international peace poster contest.
Correct.
That is another youth project.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. A lot of the clubs have done a lot of vision screening, and International tries to encourage us to do the vision screening with younger children who are not necessarily in school, preschool and that kind of thing. Because there are some kinds of deformities that can be corrected.
Exactly.
And need to be corrected before the age of 7.
Yes.
So lazy eye happens to be one of those things.
Definitely,
and if
yes.
the children, if we catch that early enough, it's very easy to correct it. And our district has invested in quite a few of the vision screening machines.
Don't we have like 4?
I think we have 6.
6. Okay. All right.
And
That's
so
great.
we are able to screen very, very quickly. It was difficult at first to get into the school districts because they have their nurses and their rules and so forth. But as we were able to do that one at a time, many of the schools saw how quickly they were able to test the students, or the younger children especially, and this was a real help to the nurses because with the funding and so forth, they had to cut back on a lot of services that the nurses offer to the schools.
Well, that's true, and sometimes you have a nurse that may be covering many schools.
Yes, that's true.
So a lot of the things that, like you're saying, vision screening or identifying some types of life challenges for our young people is very difficult because the nurses are not there all the time to see these things or to even talk with the parents. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yes. The vision screening does not give an absolute identity of the vision acuity, but it will refer the children to a doctor that is trained so that they can be screened correctly and glasses can be prescribed to them. And one of the services that Lions does is that they see that if children are really, really needy, that the club will actually pay for a pair of glasses for needy
our club's
students.
done that many times. Many of our clubs do that. Yeah, right.
And so in that way, not only are we helping the youth, but we're also carrying out the idea, the challenge of vision.
Right.
So those are some of the things that we do. As far as environment and
the Yosemite Big Trees.
Yes.
Or Calaveras Big Trees Project.
Exactly.
That I've talked about that many times on the show here, where the project is being sponsored basically by Arnold Lions Club.
That's correct.
In Arnold, California. That's up towards Yosemite, it's in the gold country of California. If ever you studied anything about California, we have area in the mountains called the gold country.
Right.
And this is where the Calaveras Big Trees are, huge redwood trees. And this project is to improve the pathway for accessibility for people with disabilities. And it's an absolutely wonderful project. Yep.
Yes.
So is that a whole district project, or is it just Arnold's being the leader of that project?
Well, Arnold is the leader of the project, but they have encouraged all of the clubs in the district to participate in that. It's going to be, it will be a legacy project because it will include everyone, not just Lions, but everyone. And it will be a lasting project.
Right.
So it's a very important project. We have never had it in the situation where people who are blind can go and enjoy the trails. But now with what they are doing, they're going to be having sound effects and things that you can touch.
Braille signs, yes.
And so all of these things are going to be helping, as you say, many of the needy people. So they'll be able to go up and enjoy the redwoods too.
That's so wonderful.
Yes.
And now I'll be talking more about the progress of this project in the new year coming up. Yeah. I've been talking about it a lot on my show.
Right. One of the other project areas that we are emphasizing is hunger. And our next district meeting will be focusing on that. It's the time of year when people realize that there are people out there that are homeless.
Yes.
And are needy and need a little bit of help along the way to give them hope. And so it's a time when we collect food supplies and give them to the needies, to the various organizations that distribute those.
Right.
And so we're hoping, even though our district meeting will be in February, that's kind of a slow season as far as getting food, canned goods and so forth out to the different organizations. So we're hoping that this will be a real plus for the organizations, and it certainly will be a joy for us to be giving food to people who really need it.
Well, you know, in February is Valentine's Day.
That's correct.
And Valentine's is a time of showing love, specifically love. And so by having a project with providing food for those who are hungry, for the homeless, etc., having a theme of love in February would be absolutely great.
Yes.
Yeah. Good suggestion to all of you clubs out there.
So those are the projects that we are emphasizing, the same ones that we have for our last celebration, our continuing celebration of our 100 years as functioning as Lions. And of course, service is the main motto.
Right.
And we're still carrying that on from when Lions began 100 years ago. So my particular motto for this year is Lions Serving for 100 Years.
Excellent.
And we were encouraged by our international president to include service in all of our mottos. And it just happened that that's what the district governors had all included in their pins and their mottos.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yes, and so...
And that's basically what we do is, our motto is we serve.
That's right.
And that's what all the clubs do is we serve. Okay.
Right. I have a little saying here that I wanted to include also in my talk, that we as Lions serve according to our means, our time, and our personal commitment. Service is the key word, no matter how we choose to use it.
Excellent. Now, you went to the international convention where you were sworn in as district governor. Can you share with our audience your experience and what it meant to you to be there? And because I would think that would be so exciting.
It was very exciting. The international organization had told us that we would have a very special celebration this year since we were 100 years old.
Yes.
And of course we had it where Lions originated in Chicago, Illinois. And true to their word, they had wonderful entertainment and speakers and meetings and so forth that we went to educate us. The district governors go a week early, and we sit through classes and so forth. And by the time the convention comes, then supposedly we're all trained, although there's a lot to learn. And
what are some of the things in that week ahead of the convention? What are some of the things that you actually were taught?
Well, we were taught how to work together, no matter what country we were from, because we had Lions from all over, and we were put into groups and were changed quite frequently so that we would have the opportunity to work with everyone that was in our particular group.
That's excellent.
And so that was a real plus. And of course, they told us, that there are certain ways that you need to handle people because we are volunteers. And so, we want to be courteous to our members and be respectful. And very important to have humanitarian projects and feelings. And so after returning from the International Convention, I was faced with the Detweiler fire in the Sierra Nevadas here in California.
Yes.
And so there is funding through our international, but paperwork has to be filled out. And fortunately enough, everything went very smoothly. And within about 25 minutes, we had $10,000 to work with from our international. And that's what some of our dues goes for. And any contributions that we make that are tax deductible to our LCIF International Foundation. And those monies are used for disasters, and we've certainly had a lot of them this year.
Especially here in California. We also had the hurricane disasters,
Yes.
and I'm quite sure International was right there, and the Lions were right there to help with
Absolutely.
that. I mean, we saw a video it was during that time of the hurricane where Lions were right there to
Yes.
help in all the areas in Houston, in Florida, and Puerto Rico.
Absolutely.
And that's how we all work together, no matter where we are. Whatever happens in our community, the Lions are there to help.
Right. Now, at our convention, of course, we had attendance of 46,000 people.
Oh, goodness.
And it was a large convention, but there were other conventions in Chicago, too. But I know that it was a wonderful experience. We always have a parade, and we did have one this year. As our delegation from California, we were 93rd in line to walk down the street.
Oh, my goodness.
So that goes to tell you how many different groups there were.
Did you
And
ever know for sure how many different countries were represented or groups?
No, but
It's probably in that 100-year
I'm sure there
Lions
probably was.
magazine.
Yes,
I should have brought that with me.
So, and it's wonderful because a lot of them wear their traditional dress that they use in their country for celebrating, and they transport those outfits over here to the United States, if that's where we're always having our international conventions. However, it's not always here in California or the United States, because last year we had an international convention in Japan. We will be having one in Milan, Italy, in a couple of years. The international convention this coming year will be in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, right,
And
close
so,
to home. We're very close
absolutely.
to Las Vegas.
Yes, we'll have lots of people from California there, we're hoping. So, yes, that's going to be very interesting, too. So, yes, we have the opportunity to meet the international president and all of the officers, and we actually got a chance to shake hands and talk face-to-face with the international president. And his name is Naresh Anagawal, and he is from India, which is the fastest growing area for new members. And so we were very excited about that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And so do you know how many people went to the convention, international convention from our district? Was it very many?
I think we had probably about 40 to 50. It's hard to say.
Really?
But not from our particular district, but from the state of California.
From California?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
So I know it sounds like a lot, but, there are lots of areas that send more than that. Canada is one of the areas that sends a lot of people to international convention. So it's kind of fun because we wear something that denotes where we are from, and so that when we march in the parade, we look like a unit.
What did you have? What did
we
the United States or California have?
Yeah, we had our wine-colored shirts, and actually they're like a purple,
right?
And that was what we all wore together. We did not wear hats this year, and fortunately enough, we ordered the weather, so it was just perfect.
Oh, good.
It was not high in humidity, and it was not overly hot, but it was just a very pleasant. I wouldn't say it's a convention. It's not. It was not necessarily. Well, it was a convention, but it was not, what would you say, a vacation.
Right,
It
was a lot of work,
working
too.
situation, yes. And so...
a learning and working and...
Right,
yes.
exactly. So, do you have any other questions?
Well,
honey?
I just really would like to know what you foresee as what we're going to be doing in our district here. Perhaps some things that you have learned through the international training, and you went also to the leadership training.
That's correct.
What is that called now?
USA Canada Forum.
Okay.
And it was held in Portland, Oregon this year.
In Portland, Oregon. That's right. That's in our backyard too.
Right.
So, I have gone through one leadership program that we have had here in California, in our district, held, and back in 2008 or so. I went. That was at the Harris Ranch. And
Yes.
That was like 5 or 6 days.
Leadership training. Yes.
Right. And so now with the leadership training that you were getting there at Canada U.S. Leadership.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of information of what you were actually learning, what they were teaching you at this convention?
They have about 80 to 90 workshops that you can choose from. And they cover everything. They cover, one of them was called, So You Want to Be a District Governor? They cover things like disaster awareness, Leo's clubs, how to deal with problems in your club.
What about retention?
Retention is another one, yes. And so retention is very important because sometimes people join a club before they really know what they're getting into.
Exactly.
And sometimes they have problems, family illnesses or something, where they have to kind of drop back a little bit. And so we wanted to encourage them to maintain their membership without actually having to be as active as they had been.
Now, one thing that I have a real strong feeling about, and I wondered if there was any training in this, is being a mentor.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now I have seen a lot of clubs get new members, but they don't assign a mentor. And I've mentored 2 or 3 Lions coming into the clubs I belong to. And in mentoring, you teach the Lion, the new member, what it means to be a Lion. It's important to take that new member to club meetings, to zone meetings, to area meetings, district meetings, to conventions, so that they get introduced to all of the officers, they get to meet the governors. I even have gone to the governor's convention, the 4 that you have each year.
Yes.
And to show the new member what it is to be a Lion and
Absolutely.
to belong, and what each area within the Lion family is doing. And I have seen them become more excited about becoming a Lion because they have somebody that takes them. And one of the things that's very hard for people, and I'm sure many of you have also gone through this, being a new member of an organization, is to meet other people. Unless you really know what all the different projects are or how you do things, it's very difficult unless you have somebody mentoring you to understand what your club is doing or what the district is doing.
Correct.
So I really emphasize very strongly that every club, you have whoever brings a new member in, either that member mentor for the next year, the new member, or the president assigns a volunteer mentor to that new member. And so many times, and I've learned this in the leadership training, when you're talking about retention, if the person does not have a mentor, does not have the feeling of really belonging immediately, you lose those people.
Correct.
And even some of the old timers, people forget about giving them the warm fuzzies and the kudos and the recognition that they deserve. And pretty soon, sometimes those people also feel left out and they leave.
Correct.
These are some of the issues about retention. And I feel very strongly that every single club needs to understand they need mentors for every one of your new members. And if somebody isn't coming to a meeting very often, to have someone who contacts that person, either the membership director or the president themselves, and say, hey, we've missed you. What's going on? Is there something we can help you with? Because the only way that you can keep volunteers is by making them know that they are needed.
Exactly.
And many of us, we go into volunteer work very, not asking for a lot of recognition. You know that.
Right.
We do it because of the love we have for our community or for whatever the club is doing and who they're serving. It's a very unselfish type of giving of yourself. But we also, to retain people, we got to let everybody know that they're still worth something and they're of value.
Exactly.
And very important. So the retention is something I just can't get enough emphasis in training of everybody in retention.
That's right. Every new member has a sponsor, but it does not mean that sponsor has to do the mentoring.
Exactly.
The member can choose someone who they really feel close to in the club.
Yes.
And ask them all kinds of questions. Well, why do we do this service project? And where does the money go? And all kinds of questions. And how many meetings do I have to come to? And all kinds of things like that.
Definitely.
Any question that you might have, feel free to ask of your mentor. Not only do we have mentors for the individual club members, but as a regular club, we have what we call a Guiding Lions program, which means that there is a member who has been in Lions for, a few years, who can come and sit with the new members, the new club, and any questions they might have, they can feel free to ask. And that person is a Guiding Lion for 3 years.
Right.
And so it's a very worthwhile project. I know that I was a Guiding Lion for one of our clubs here in California, and it was just wonderful to get together with them and, share ideas with them. And if they had questions about, what are some of the things we can do as a service project, and if they want you to offer information, you can feel free to do so. You don't.
I think, I don't know if I have my Guiding Lion pin on. There it is. There's my Guiding Lion pin right here. I received that when I belonged to the Marina Lions Club, the first club I ever joined. Yes,
very
Marina,
good.
California.
Yes. We always, as Lions, try to help the new members.
Yes.
We try to help the new clubs. It's our goal to keep people in the service area for as long as we actually can. And we try to solve any problems that there might be. And we really want them to be good members, and we want them to enjoy service, because that's what it's all about. We have fun, we have fellowship, and we do service.
That's excellent. Well, you've been doing an excellent job. You've been with the Lions for quite some time, and she's always at the district meetings, always there helping with everything. And we're so proud of you becoming our district governor, too.
Thank you, Lion Connie.
Well, thank you, too. She's done a great job. Well, it's getting about that time of the day for us to close our show. I want to say to everyone out there, I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope that your club has got plans for the coming year, for the brand new year of 2018. And I wish you the best, and I would like to hear from you. You can go onto our Facebook page, KXVS, Voice of Stockton, and you'll be able to see our shows and spread the word. I would like to hear from Lions from all over the world. I'd like to find out what your clubs are doing. Not everybody's club gets in the international magazine every month, so it would be very nice to have information from you here. And if you ever are out here in California, and you can come to Stockton, I'd love to have you on my show. Just let me know. Okay? So I want to say Merry Christmas to you, Eileen.
And Merry Christmas to you,
Thank you.
Connie.
And Merry Christmas to everyone out there, and a Happy New Year. Bye now.
Bye.